inside.
For clothes that Tristan lost. Bold 3 detergent plus fabric softener. Spray relief.
You two take care of labor.
Only intended for a plane capsule.
You don't want to die.
After the honeymoon, but when I got back and I found out that he'd stolen Ben.
Lies have gotten all of us into so much trouble.
So, recently, as a proper philosophy poser should, I've been reading quite a lot of Nietzsche. And right now I'm powering through, I'm finishing up with his book called The Gay Science. Now, it's a collection of aphorisms, thoughts, and ideas. Some of them are loosely tied together, some of them are not tied together at all. There are some general themes running along the whole book, but all of that is beside the point. Because today, this isn't a lecture on Nietzsche. I want to talk to you about one aphorism in this beautiful book that really stuck out to me. And ironically speaking, despite the concentration of interesting ideas in the book, I'm not even going to tell you about the whole aphorism, because what struck home for me was the wording of like 2 or 3 words in this aphorism. So let me read this quote to you. It's going to be completely out of context, but that doesn't matter. People whose lives are not a dramatic action, but a business, sit before the stage and look at strange creatures for whom life is more than a business. Now, originally, I read the book in Russian, and the words dramatic action are changed simply for поступок. So it reads, like people whose lives are not a поступок. And in Russian, the word поступок directly translates to action or act. But the cool thing is, when you say it out of context, like kind of in a vacuum, if you say like, that's a поступок, no other information, or wow, your life is really a поступок, the word suddenly gets this grand, solemn, grandiose connotation. Suddenly, the action gains weight, it gains significance. It's no longer just any action, like scratching your butt or going outside for a walk. Now it's something that demands sacrifice, something that speaks to the person acting as someone great, someone noble. And this comparison of our lives simply being one grand action, it inspired the hell out of me, I'm not gonna lie. Like an example would be Socrates, who willfully killed himself, willfully sacrificed his life because he refused to denounce what he believed in. That's what a Russian would call one hell of a поступок. But let me ask you something. Do you personally think that Socrates was crazy? Do you cynically tell yourself, and be honest, if I was Socrates, well then I would have lied to the court, apologized, used my power of rhetoric to fool everyone, and then I would have written like a big book or something to really drive my ideas home. But for what? Well, that way I wouldn't have to sacrifice my life. But who would listen to your ideas then? You there, behind the screen, be honest with me, is your life a поступок? Do you prove anything by just being you? How preoccupied are you with things that no one will ever remember you by? How interested are you in indulging in pleasures which will be long forgotten when you stare death in the face? How far enough have you gone to deny the value of anything that's outside of your imminent material circumstances? Far enough to declare that there's no idea that you would sacrifice your life for? Why then do you think that you have the right to pride yourself on having any ideas? You must agree then that all your talks about beliefs and ideals are nothing more than just empty sounds. How interested are you in upkeeping the perfect work-life balance? Why is that even a term? Why do you have to balance work and life? Why are they two different things? Now, if you laugh at me now and refer me to the real world, then let me remind you that all of that, which you refer to as the real world, is nothing more than a conglomeration of man-made concepts that have been pounded so far down your throat that you take them to be just as intrinsically real as your will to reproduce. This is madness. The traits which you respect are hardworking and financially responsible and goal-oriented, but goals, finances, and work are all imaginary. The illusion of their existence is upkept exclusively by your conviction of their genuineness. Why can't I then construct a wooden unicorn and be respected for my mastery as a wooden unicorn handler? Well, that won't have any practical use, you will say. But what does? That which gives food, water, shelter? Yes. But let's be honest here, that's not all you want. Food, water, and shelter, these things are easily achievable to anyone who's sitting their ass down and watching this video on YouTube. I lived in places where the average salary is $3,000 a year, and even they managed somehow. So don't bullshit me about practicality. This means that you want more. You must want the cherry on the cake and the shine on your shoes and whatever, but for what purpose? Are you so afraid of your redundance? Are you so scared of your emptiness? You must be completely crazy to think that they'll just whoosh away if you can go deep enough into your house of mirrors. You know they won't. Any moment that you're left alone with your thoughts is terrifying.
Because that's when the void comes out to eat you up.
Now, you can run from it, and you do so. It's now been made easier than ever. From the very moment that you wake up, until the very moment that you tire yourself out to such an extent that you will fall asleep instantly, you chow down on the most engaging and stimulating garbage that you can find. And don't think I'm merely pointing at your phone. How about all those meaningless conversations and meetups? The constant hum of music in your earbuds? The unnecessary snacks?
Anything. Just anything. But please, God, keep me occupied.
Does your life then come down to a futile attempt at escaping from the hell that is your dizzy soul? Fact of the matter is, you're just stalling. Any personal moment you get, you feel the tongue of the flames on your exhausted mind. So, you never actually make any ground or get any distance between yourself and the void. And some of you are starting to catch on to this. You're starting to kind of see things for what they are. We're all becoming more educated after all. And y'all have acknowledged the existence of the abyss. Good on you. You've also recognized the absurdity of this escape attempt, if you will. But what next? You ironize it? You joke about it as if it's a bully that'll go away if you call him out enough? Do you think that acknowledgement will solve the problem by itself, or that it makes any progress? Or are you merely calming yourself with the fact that you're not the only one? Do you truly wish to conquer your soul's deepest yearnings with irony? And then you laugh at those who don't want to join you in the hamster wheel. The homeless artists, the unemployed dreamers, the impractical moralists. If they smell and look bad enough, you might even feel privileged enough to belittle and shame them. Too scared of the real world. Grow up. Get a job, you loser. You laugh at them, and you do inadvertently commit evil, but I do not blame you. After all, they terrify you even more. They're the embodiment of your deepest desires, but they also had the bravery to dismiss your most superficial desires. You see, they coped with the abyss, and however hungry they may be, their physical ailments are incompatible with the scale of your suffering and misery. Those who were conquered by the abyss can also be argued to be better off than you. After all, they didn't waste their time and energy on trying to run from it. Now, it's a bit easier with the more eccentric types. Like the monks, the skeptics, or the geniuses whose genius, unintentionally brought them material riches. I respect them, but they're built different. And look at you amongst them. They're either built different or losers. Now, you can't rebuild yourself, of course, and you sure as hell don't want to wind up as a loser, so you'll have to be sensible and take the balanced route. Good on you. Balance is key, he said, trying to account for mediocrity. Now, Unlike Nietzsche, I don't detest you. I don't look down upon you. This wasn't a message of hate. This wasn't an attempt to bully you. How could anyone hate you if they understood just how much of an abysmal fever dream your life is? And you're so terrified by what's on the other side that you've brainwashed yourself to actually love your fever dream. That's just me, you exclaim as someone prods at your line of defenses. And you shout, "Code Red!" and you declare complete lockdown. You're so enslaved by your fever dream that you would agree to be a literal slave if that meant saving it. But sadly, with every distraction, with every step away from the abyss, you're also putting more and more distance between yourself and salvation. Because the more you try to run from the void, the more terrified you are of the realization that your life has never amounted to anything more than this worthless escape. You try to slap some sort of principles and values on yourself along the way as if they're fucking bumper stickers. You sure do love to judge and praise because those actions make you feel like you actually believe in something. Like from a functionalist point of view. But these are yet just more and more sorry tactics in your escape plan, which was doomed right from the start. Unlike Nietzsche, I love you. I don't blame you. I'm sorry for all of this. Like everyone else, you're an animal and you just followed the herd. The herd, however, when looked at as a whole, is committing evil. Although you may think otherwise, the herd is not just leading you to hell, it's leading you to hell via the most hellish of all of routes. I love you, and it tears my heart apart to see you following the herd and hanging onto your fever dream who's like a sick dog who bites the doctor which wants to treat it. Just like Nietzsche, I wish that you should not remain unfamiliar with profound self-contempt, the torture of self-mistrust, the wretchedness of the vanquished. I want you to be free from your fever dream. I want you to exit the cave. But sadly, the emancipation will be torturous and immensely painful. You will have to manually kill every part of yourself that you once thought authentic. You will have to lie down and surrender to the abyss. You will have to lay down your weapons, shut down your line of defenses. You will have to sacrifice the entirety of your theoretical existence. I'm sorry, but you will have to die. The death will be painful, but I beg of you, do surrender. You will feel as if you are losing your sanity, and I beg of you, if you must, become insane. Excruciating, maddening death is the only way out. Die, and like a phoenix, you will be reborn from the ashes. But right now, you are still in your fever dream. You're still not thinking straight. Do not wish to be reborn. Wish only to die. Let the death encompass you wholly. I love you, and now it's time to die.
Handsome, charming, specially marked boxes of monster cereals. No, inside one of these free wax lips, fangs, or mustaches, they just uncover the real you.